The most challenging part is when you awaken and you're the only one in your family that awakens, can be very detrimental if you can see a truth and all the information is there, and those around you, those that you love, cannot see the truth despite logic, intelligence, conversation. It's literally designed to cognitive dissonance. So as you awaken, you're going through a process that is sped up to where before 2012 or before, for decades, centuries, but from that 2020 point, we sped up a lot. So it can be challenging when you awaken and nobody's listening, or your family thinks you're crazy, or all of these things, but you're still awakening and you can still go through these processes. You can still reach levels of advancement with your consciousness, because we have so much more support for our consciousness than ever before. And our consciousness is God consciousness, the all, the one, the source, which we come from. But there's all of these overlays that have been put upon you and these beliefs. I just ended up like dissecting myself over time and going through all of these constructs. But when they all completely collapsed at once, that can be very harmful to a system. Like you can't, if you do it under the wrong circumstance with someone, you go crazy. And it's happened in our world. People maybe get online and all of their faculties open, but all the channels open too, and it's too much for the physical body or the nervous system. Our containers can hold so much more now. So as you awaken and you quickly go down the rabbit hole of each construct or belief that you have, or perception around a belief, you have to be very self-aware, because each construct has a lot of labyrinths and they have a lot of loops to go down a rabbit hole and then keep you in a specific place where you think you're out of it, but you're still being collapsed inside of this little wormhole construct. Awaken and awaken. When you awaken to the reality of this world on your consciousness journey, as a walk-in, it was a big blast and a walk-in experience. Over the last 13, 14 years, I recognize the awakening experience can be looked at as a softer, slower way of walking in. So getting a fast download, upload, clearing, snap the system, put a new consciousness in or an upgraded consciousness in, and then experience oneself this way, the way life was supposed to meant to be experienced, and how we can remember, and we have instruction sets and memories and code and all of these things. And then you have the awaken or awakening experience. So the awakening experience many on this planet are going through, and since the time of 2012 to 2020, that it was a very slow process for many to start to awaken, because of the belief systems in the matrix and the overlays in the veil, and a lot of things that were compressing and hiding the ability to awaken. When you're on your journey and you awaken, one will go through collapses of their own constructs as they start to see better, and the vision gets clearer, and overlays that the veil has put there start to dissolve. And usually this happens through a number of different ways. So for some people, they start to work on their physical body because illness or chronic illness or disease or autoimmune disease starts to affect the body and compress the nervous system, and all of these things happen. And so they have to do a deep dive into figuring out the body. And as soon as you start cleaning up the body, especially the nervous system or the endocrine system, you start to be able to communicate with cells, tissues, and organs better. And even that overlay goes away. Biofilm, all of those things that hide within the physical body, Biofilm, for example, is a life film, right? So imagine in the physical body, a biofilm hiding viruses or bacteria or poisons in the body that the body can't get rid of because this film is hiding it and it's very hard to get out of the body. And imagine it's the same with our eyes deceiving us. So we're locked into beliefs. So as you awaken, or that concept of awaken, you will start to see things differently. The journey that I had started through the pharmaceutical awareness and cleaning up the physical body, which started to activate clarity in the mind, the pineal gland, all of those things. So that, as part of the awakening process, has sped up, and you can collapse a lot of systems and knowledge and information because it's a safer place to land when you have a greater number of people, or you can go to the internet, or you can find people to communicate who are aware enough that something's gone wrong in this matrix system, and there's a lot of enslavement and there's a lot of poison, and it's a safer place to land when you have a community to land with and you have information there waiting for you, so that all of the things that you're coming aware of that are known to you, you're just now being able to put the pieces together, and you have people that you can turn to say, yeah, this is the system. You get to then look at how a certain system was created. Like, you can actually see the pharmaceutical system and how it was designed. And then you can dig through the layers there and see some truths with your inner discerning and your nervous system healing. You can look at how education was done, how government works, how all of these systems. And as you awaken, you're not doing everything at once. You're seeing these pieces and you're putting them together and how that relates to your life. Because when you start to deconstruct your own mind and you see these things, it's by design that you get ostracized, that you get finger pointing at, that you, worst case scenario, get shamed and raked over the coals. And the most challenging part is when you awaken and you're the only one in your family that awakens, can be very detrimental if you can see a truth and all the information is there, and those around you, those that you love, cannot see the truth despite logic, intelligence, conversation. It's literally designed to cognitive dissonance. So as you awaken, you're going through a process that is sped up to where before 2012 or before, for decades, centuries, but from that 2020 point, we sped up a lot. So it can be challenging when you awaken and nobody's listening, or your family thinks you're crazy, or all of these things. But you're still awakening, and you can still go through these processes, and you can still reach levels of advancement with your consciousness, because we have so much more support for our consciousness than ever before. And our consciousness is God consciousness, the all, the one, the source, whatever, which we come from. But there's all of these overlays that have been put upon you and these beliefs. I just ended up dissecting myself over time and going through all of these constructs. But when they all completely collapsed at once, that can be very harmful to a system. Like, you can't, if you do it under the wrong circumstance with someone, you go crazy. And it's happened in our world. People maybe get online and all of their faculties open, but all the channels open too, and it's too much for the physical body or the nervous system. Our containers can hold so much more now. So as you awaken and you quickly go down the rabbit hole of each construct or belief that you have, or perception around a belief, you have to be very self-aware, because each construct has a lot of labyrinths, and they have a lot of loops to go down a rabbit hole and then keep you in a specific place where you think you're out of it, but you're still being collapsed inside of this little wormhole construct. Like the money construct's a good one that can happen in, or spiritual belief, alien disclosure, all of those things. Like, the real lesson here is to go within and to discern each and everything. Take in information. One of the things that I got to learn early on is I met this really, I didn't meet this big being, but they were probably a walk-in, and they had recorded a bunch of information. And one of the things that they always said is question everything and keep that which is good. And when I heard that, it made sense, because the experience that we're meant to have here is so good. It's like we're not meant to suffer, right? We're not meant to go down a rabbit hole and then be compressed in that rabbit hole when you get out of one belief system to go in another belief system. So we're meant to, we question everything and keep that which is good. And when I heard that, for me, it registered as, listen, I don't know all the truths here, and I don't know all the answers, because a lot of systems within me aren't revealed yet. They're not open. I can't open that instruction set. One of the ones I couldn't open was for almost 10 years. I couldn't open a channel. I couldn't listen to anybody, even a being that's been here for a while that knows stuff and says, hey, this is how you protect yourself. I had to create my own discernment system so that I wouldn't be interfered with, because the one thing that I had and knew in my mission, if you will, was that it was very important for me to know that everything here had been interfered with, absolutely everything. And my instruction that I had was to shut down every channel, every psychic possibility that I had, everything. So that's the best way to describe it. It's like coming in here and then getting a mission. Here's your mission. You're going to go to Earth, and you're going to get, you have all this knowledge, information, and we're going to send you here at this time space point. And but once you get there, like, it's going to be radio silence. And you know this, and you agree to it because you know the bigger mission at this point. You know it, and you're ready to go. And literally, like, you can be trained for it. You can be told, like, it's going to be radio silence, but you got to go, and you've been prepared. You prepared for this time. But you got to get in there, and you got to go. But it will be radio silence. And so, as my experience in the walk-in experience is, that's the one instruction that I knew I had to do. So it didn't matter if another walk-in told me, or a psychic, or somebody came here 100 years before, 50 years before, and they had the whole blueprint, and they were like, and there are beings here that they have this information. I was literally not, I couldn't even believe any of it. The only code that I had was within me. And there was a way that when I heard information, I had to go within me. I had to go within. And when I point to myself, it wasn't here. It's in the belly button area, like below that. There was, like, I had to go within there and connect these two there, and then take the information that I was hearing and see it there, and then ask for within there. And it didn't feel like anything outside of myself. It was all inside of myself where I got the answer to know if it was truthful or not, and information that I could rely on. And then there was a whole process over that. But I would always know for certain things, because as soon as it was like an absolute, it would feel absolute inside of my being. It would just connect in there, and it would just, it's absolute. It's like unchanging. And everything else was deception. Everything else was interfered with. Because we were in this container, it wasn't because the people themselves were necessarily bad or wrong. I mean, with good intentions, a lot of them came with, and I did meet those that had exact, or 99.9% exact information for their role and what they played and what they brought in, that I could discern, okay, that is That's the direct line right there. It wasn't about the person believing, it wasn't anything to do with belief. I had no, I wasn't allowed to even take one bit of untruth in me. If there was even a flicker of it, I could take the information in, but I could not make it a belief. I could not solidify a reality of that was it without that knowing and that connection. And here, truth is very played with, right? It goes through the mind belief system, perception system, experience. Our eyes and ears will deceive us. And that for me, I had to work almost 10 years at that before I was able to utilize some of the information coming in and share that with others. That was more of a truth. And there was some things that I could just hear for 1 minute and see the whole thing, and it was just like it was masked as a truth, and that was a lot of what was here. So even in whatever we learn currently too, it hasn't changed. It's just it hasn't changed in the what you have to do to go into discern, but it's changed in the amping up of with the AI. So it's different than it was even in 2012. But the how you do it is on point, right? Is how you discern. So in the awakening process, as you awaken, it can be challenging to collapse systems and beliefs. Emotions come up. It just has to happen. Being upset that you were deceived, relationships that were toxic and harmful. So many things come up in this process that will feel painful and feel alone and lonely. And this is why I'm sharing these chronicles, because be kind to yourself and nurture that process. There's no faster way for one than the other that is better than the other. I just happen to go through it very fast, and I can actually see the mechanics behind this. And this is what I see now. Partial awakening, like you can get yourself to enough of a placeholder within yourself to continue the work on yourself, come what may, to understand that there is a ascension process here. We are navigating with consciousness at a massive rate, saved for this time, that is so beautiful in the awakening process that you wouldn't want it any other way, except for the mind construct and that percentage of how much we have aligned with it in the inverted way. It will have to purge out memory, clearing through the mind that memory was programmed in through these emotional things. And sometimes those take days, and sometimes they take weeks, and sometimes those processes take months, and nothing is linear. So awakening process now, you can be kind to yourself that, each thing as you purge out, you can still have higher information coming in because they're in your DNA and they're in your memory of the DNA. This is why I'm sharing the Walk-In Chronicles, because I want to really support people in their awakening process. And one of the things that was strongly desired by this being before was to know the truth. And their brain, which was a slow processing unit for taking in information, and their mind were interfering with knowing the truth. It was by design. And the truth can be subjective. The truth, though, is the truth, and it's a knowing. And we're all at some space where we can't fully embody all of it right now in our physicality, because the physicality already is storing a lot, but slowly we have to activate it, because it's like coming through the layers of dirty water. Or a better example that comes to mind would be like a scuba diver, and they're under the water, and you can't just shoot up to the top because you have to decompress. And if you don't, it's going to be hella painful, and it's going to possibly cause your death. So we have to slowly decompress as we come up through the waters to the sunlight, to the fresh air. And if you do it properly and with space and time, you get there. And it doesn't matter when you start to come up to the surface, the thing is you're going to come up, right?